Welcome back. All right, so some news of the day for all you fine people on the internet. Starting off with, we had a vote. We had a vote on which jersey design would be the best for all 32 teams to adopt next season. The winner is the Flying V. All 32 teams will be wearing this in their team colors with their team's logo on the sleeves. I'm not sure what we've done, but God won't be happy. So all 32 teams were in the Flying V. Should be an entertaining season. We'll see if that picks up the ratings at ESPN that were kind of low. I mean, they did put us on the Ocho, so that happens. Gary Bettman, we finally got a successor for Gary Bettman as the new commissioner for the league. Will be a clone of Gary Bettman, known as Gary Jr. And there's Gary Bettman's excited about it. I don't know how many other people are, but Bettman's excited about it. Very, very clear that there's some mini me. He may have watched too many of the Austin Powers. I'm not sure, but it is concerning that Bettman has the cloning technology. Of course, fans are asking why he's not cloning the hockey players, and shut up is not the proper answer, Gary. I'm sorry. I've been reaching out to him, and that's all I get back is shut up, or he's been like crank calling my house, even swatted my house. What's that about? Anyways, the Boston Bruins, the most popular team in the National Hockey League, that they won a vote. They signed Sidney Crosby. Yep, they signed Crosby. They're going for their sixth straight Stanley Cup. It is the greatest dynasty in the history of hockey. Each of the 5 years they've won the Stanley Cup, Pasternak, Bergeron, Marchand, 30 points minimum for these three guys. Marchand's even taken to wearing his rings on the outside of his gloves while he's playing. I'm not sure how that's legal, but calls it the old stink eye. So anyways, yeah, they're going for their sixth straight Stanley Cup. We'll see whether or not they can get there. If the lawsuit that they're being served with here, and we'll get to the lawsuit, ends up going anywhere, they may be kicked out of the league for a year. The Arizona Coyotes, I would like to congratulate them with a grand total of 6,566 fans in attendance on average. They've led the league in attendance for the fourth straight year. Part of this might have been all the fires. There were a lot of fires. The Coyotes deny anything to do with the ones that took out the really big buildings. But either way, for 4 years, they're leading the NHL in attendance. So they're the ones getting the money, and they're the ones that have the money to spend. They actually finished first in their division last year. So kudos to the Arizona Coyotes. The outdoor game this year has some people concerned. It's going to be in Las Vegas. It's between the Golden Knights and the Ducks, and it's going to be a roller hockey game. They're putting together an outdoor roller hockey rink. They're saying it's just too hot, and if it goes over well, and if it gets a lot of people to watch, there's some discussion of whether or not in certain cities they just make it roller hockey. You just make it roller hockey. And then Bettman again, when Reach for Comment, said it really doesn't matter. It's all hockey. So, and then added, shut up. So, yeah, outdoor roller hockey game. That's on September 30th. That's the opening night for the season. So we'll see how it goes. It's supposed to be, I think, 41 degrees Celsius for that game, and Vegas sees that as an advantage. Now, in fact, if the Ducks are all passing out from heat exhaustion, Vegas will be awarded this game and their next game as well. The NHL deciding that if they can't finish this game, it's not really fair to put anything on the line in the second game of the season, so they will be awarded 2 victories. The Ducks are complaining about how the water bottles they've been given all have holes in them. And again, when Gary Bettman was reached, he did this weird thing with a smoke bomb. He was gone. I don't know where he went, but Bettman at some point in time is going to have to sit down and talk about some of this, right? All right, so we'll see how that roller hockey thing goes. I know that there were some very upset fans with this idea. Bettman scolded them too because they weren't on skates and said, if you can walk on your feet, we can play hockey on our feet. So shut up was his answer. Now, the Philadelphia Flyers have taken an interesting tactic, still stinging from a first-round loss against the Ottawa Senators this past season. They have penned a very eloquent, well-written, they even wrote it in calligraphy, letter to their fans. They're all individually written and signed and sent out to all their season ticket holders, and they're blaming the fans. They're saying that the fans didn't cheer loud enough, the fans didn't try hard enough, and they're blaming the guy in the third row, too, that had to go in and play the game. in Game 5 that was really the game that tilted the series and said it wasn't our fault that he sucked. He shouldn't have entered the contest. So the Flyers, an interesting tactic to blame the fans, but here we are. Another interesting tactic, the city of Atlanta, a real hotbed for hockey, so much so that the Atlanta Flames and the Atlanta Thrashers didn't stay because they were generating too much interest, too much money for the city of Atlanta. But with the NHL looking at the attendance from the Arizona Coyotes and seeing this as the number one attendance in the league, they realized that Atlanta's where the real money is for the National Hockey League. So both the Calgary Flames and the Winnipeg Jets, who both came from Atlanta, are going to be playing half of their regular season schedules in Atlanta. So Atlanta will have 40 home games, and 20 of them for the Jets, 20 of them for the Flames. We'll see how it turns out. It's going to make the Flames' travel schedule a bit of a nightmare. Also, Calgary fans not very happy that it is the last 20 games of the season for them that will be played in Atlanta, whereas the first 20 games of the season, first 20 home games for Winnipeg will be played in Atlanta. So there's still some discussions about whether or not that's going to change. But again, Bettman, when asked whether or not that's going to change, he said they should both stop whining or he can move both teams to Atlanta. So I don't know what the plan is there. The good news, though, for Calgary is they figured out how to take the Saddle Dome and string out a bunch of hammocks on the top there. So it's really become a tourist hotbed. Bunch of hammocks all over the Saddle Dome. They're even thinking about changing its name to the Hammock Dome. And fans would have to pay money then to have their hammocks on top of the Saddle Dome. But with the shape of the building, hammocks work. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. Austin Matthews, good news for Leafs fans. Austin Matthews has agreed to stay with the team. He's fine with signing an 8-year deal when his contract is up. However, he wants to play goal. His attitude is basically, I've done everything there is for me to do as a goal scorer. He did have 75 goals last season, and he's like, I want to play net. I think I'll be pretty good. So the plan is to sign him to a league max contract, and apparently he may end up being a goaltender. So all the best to Matthews. The Flyers have apparently made an offer to Matthews, even though that's tampering. But again, Bettman doesn't care. He hasn't enforced tampering for a very long time. We even saw Matthews at one point last season wearing an Arizona jersey during a Leafs game, and after the game saying it was an honest mistake, he forgot that he was wearing it. So fans aren't all that convinced because he was wearing his equipment underneath the jersey, and he got dressed with the rest of the guys. So we'll see what happens. Now, with the salary cap is dropping for the second year in a row. It's a new provision in this CBA that kicked in a couple years back, and it is the we need a second boat provision. So until every owner can afford to have 2 boats, the salary cap needs to come down. So they're saying it's a boat tax is what they're calling it as well. The players have come out and said, we want boats too. Why can't we have boat money? And the owners have said, we're billionaires, so knock it off. You're not getting boat money. And then I've heard some players have gotten kayaks. Some players have gotten paper boats. So, you know those little plastic ones you play in the tub with when you're a kid? These owners kind of being jerks about it. So, but yeah, the we need a second boat provision is in effect. And until every owner out of the 32 can actually have that second boat, there's no plans to change anything. The New York Rangers, I mentioned earlier, there's a lawsuit coming. They're suing the Boston Bruins because there was a zombie incident. We all know about the zombie incident. I really feel bad for Chris Kreider. I didn't think his career was going to end that way. It was an absolute shame to see Adam Fox having to fight them off by himself. But he did, and so he's kind of heroic. But they're pretty sure that the Bruins had something to do with it. Umbrella, who weren't even implicated in this, are trying to settle the lawsuit. So Umbrella, who are they really have been great purveyors of my material. Thank you, Umbrella. I couldn't afford any of this without Umbrella, so thank you very much. And they're trying to settle. So I think it's in the Rangers' best interest to settle with Umbrella as soon as possible. And we'll just make this ugly incident go away. I'm sure it was just isolated. I'm sure it's no big deal. The Rangers can go out and get new players. Thankfully, the contracts aren't being enforced. It turns out once somebody's turned into a zombie, they aren't good skaters. So for the Rangers, they're going to need to fill out their team. But if this lawsuit goes through, what they're stating is they want all the Bruins players. So all of the Bruins players would transfer to the New York Rangers, and then the Bruins would have to have a team of zombies. It's the weirdest thing, but it is the life that we live now, and all hail Umbrella. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.